Morning, everyone. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins. Trustee Nada. Trustee Jenkins. Trustee Mailer. Trustee Rust.
Here.
We have a quorum and I call the meeting to order. The minutes for the December 6, 2024 Audit Committee meeting were circulated in advance. Are there any corrections or additions to them? Hearing none, I move to approve the minutes as written. Is there a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. The minutes are approved. There are three action items for the committee to consider. The item A is revised audit committee charter. Your meeting materials included a draft for the revised audit committee charter. I recognize Mr. Blaine Clements, Chief Audit Officer, who will provide further information.
Good morning. Tennessee law requires the Office of Internal Audit to adhere to the Institute of Internal Auditors standards. Those standards changed and effective January 5th of this year. They change every once in a while, but this was a substantive change. They revamped the structure and a lot of the wording. So many of the items because they've changed the policies and we're adapting our internal policies and procedures to ensure compliance. But the first item that you have is the audit committee charter. These high-level documents that you'll see didn't change that much. A lot of the changes are on our operation level, but the charter did change, and it's mainly changing the name of the standards that we have to comply with, and it's also changing. Maybe that's just it for this one. Just the name. The name is all that's changed. Audit committee charters. This is your charter. Have to be approved by the Comptroller of the Treasury, and they approved this on December 9th. So now it's presented to you for your approval. I'll happily answer any questions you have.
Do I hear a motion to approve the revised audit committee charter? Is there a second? It is moved and seconded to approve the revised audit committee charter as written. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Item B is revision to policy 1015 internal auditing. Your meeting materials included a draft for the revised APSU policy 1015 internal auditing. I recognize Mr. Blaine Clements, who will provide further information.
Yep, so same thing. We're going to change the policy just like the charter. This one, it changes the name of the guidance that we have to comply with. And the old guidance had a definition of internal audit that we were to comply with. The new one has more of a purpose statement, so that's reflected in this policy. Policy is going to the University Policy Committee and has been approved by the President, so it's now here to get your approval. I'll happily answer any questions you may have.
Just out of curiosity, why do they make these massive changes that amount to nothing?
So that's a great question. I will say that on our high-level documents, the charter, your charter, my charter, the policy, are pretty in-depth, and so you're not seeing much of the changes. When it comes down to what me and Beth do on a daily basis, that has substantially changed. We have to have a strategic plan. We have to document our training processes. We did this before, but now it's requiring us to do these things. So like something that my colleagues outside the state are dealing with when it comes to these changes is that many people like me, chief audit officers in colleges, don't report directly to the audit committee like I do. So they're struggling with how do they deal with that more significant change. Since Tennessee is, in my opinion, pretty audit forward, a lot of these high-level stuff doesn't change as much as it does for other schools, but we have had some operational changes. We had to review our manual, change our work programs, things of that stuff that's pretty low level, but this high-level stuff is pretty set up from the get-go.
A motion to approve the revisions to policy 1015 internal audit. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to approve the revisions to policy 1015 internal auditing as written. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Item C is the fiscal year 2025 revised audit plan. Your reading materials included the fiscal year 2025 revised audit plan. I recognize Mr. Blaine Clements, who will provide further information.
Yes, the Office of Internal Audit prepares an annual audit plan at the beginning of each fiscal year. That plan is based on staffing and time resources available to perform audits and is prepared in conjunction with the annual risk analysis of the university's auditable areas. This committee approved the fiscal year 25 plan on June 7th, 2024. The standard that I have to comply with says if I have any major revisions to that plan to bring it back to you. And that's what we usually do in March. So the plan is not that much different. We've stayed on course. We have dropped, I guess we've removed an audit, management's risk assessment for academic affairs with the incoming provost, me and Dr. Lacari decided to be best to wait until a new person had showed up to get their input. And so when we dropped that off, we selected to do the risk assessment for F&A, Finance and Administration, which is due next year. So we just flip-flopped those. And then the other audit we added was an audit of the Child Care Learning Center. Not because it's bad, just because it does stuff that we're not normally doing, right? It expanded, had some new employees, and they deal with little kids. So that special risk profile. I'm happy to answer any questions about the revised audit plan.
Do I hear a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 revised audit plan?
I move to approve.
It is moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2025 revised audit plan as written. Is there any further discussion?
One thing, probably the least glamorous committee on this board is the audit committee. But probably the most important, because when you get a look at the finances, and we've seen that in other universities around this state, how it hurts the university if those things are not done properly, if there's improper the funds or whatever. So it may not be glamorous, but it probably is the most important thing we do, is to make sure that you're spending the money as we're supposed to, that everybody's being honest. We went through this business with credit card and so forth, and it's embarrassing when you see that happen. So thank you for the good work you're doing.
It's a good place to be.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. The motion carries. There are 4 information items for the committee to consider. Item A, recent audit and review performed by the State Comptroller's Office. Tabitha Furlong, Legislative Auditor, will provide information about this item.
Good morning. My name is Tabitha Furlong. I'm a Legislative Audit Manager with the Comptroller's Office, Division of State Audit. For the fiscal year ended June 30, 2024, we did 2 engagements, and those included the financial statement audit for fiscal year end June 30, 2024, and we did the agreed upon procedures engagement for your NCAA for June 30, 2024. For the financial statement audit, we performed the audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the U.S. These are normally known as the AICPA standards, and also the standards applicable to financial audits and government auditing standards, which are known as Yellow Book. We issued an unmodified opinion, which is the good opinion, a clean opinion, on the APSU financial statements on December 5th, 2024, and released the report on January 29th, 2025. In the prior year, we noted 3 findings, 1 financial statement finding on endowment reporting, and then we followed up on 2 federal findings, 1 on student financial assistance enrollment reporting and 1 on HERF reporting. For fiscal year end June 30, 2024 audit, I'm happy to announce that there were no findings. All of those were corrected. Great job. the NCAA agreed upon procedures engagement. Our objective for that is to determine compliance with the NCAA bylaws. We performed that also in accordance with our the AICPA standards. We issued our report on January 13th, 2025. And again, I'm happy to report no issues were noted. That you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Furlong. Are there any questions for Ms. Furlong or discussion about the recent audit and review performed by the State Comptroller's Office? This is an information item and requires no action. Item B is the revised internal audit charter. Mr. Clements will provide information about this item.
Same thing. We changed the charter a little bit. Doesn't have to be approved by you or anybody else, but it does, it's signed by me and the president, which we've done. So it's in your material, similar changes. If you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Clements. Are there any questions for Mr. Clements or discussion about the revised internal audit charter? This is an information item and requires no action. Item C is internal audit report released between November 8th, 2024 and February 27th, 2025, and a list of outstanding audit recommendations. Mr. Clements will provide information about this item.
We released one report regarding enrollment data. So this is our audit we do every 2, 3, 4 years periodically. We want to make sure that the data we send to THEC that they use in the funding formula is accurate. And the report's in your materials, and it tells you information about the time period we looked at. And that report has no observations, no findings, no nothing. It's completely clean. Again, it was 2 or 3 years ago. So also in your materials is a list of outstanding audit issues. These are things that we have noted in prior audit reports that have not been resolved yet. The one that's in here it's being worked on and probably dropped off by June, I would expect. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this report or the recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Clements. Are there any questions for Mr. Clements or discussion about the internal audit report? This is an information item and requires no action. Item D is the client satisfaction survey results for calendar year 2024. Mr. Clements will provide information about this item.
Thank you. The Office of Internal Audit is committed to continuous quality assessment and improvement program. The program includes periodically soliciting feedback directly from the clients we have served about the quality of services we have provided. At the beginning of each calendar year, I send out an 11-question survey to staff who have had significant interaction with our office and pursuant to internal audit engagements during the previous calendar year. Survey responses are anonymous to ensure candid feedback. You have a copy of the survey that we send, as well as the results are in your report. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Clements. Are there any questions for Mr. Clements or discussion about the client satisfaction survey results?
One question, do all schools do this client satisfaction survey, or is this something you implemented yourself?
Not many schools do this.
Most auditors don't say how to do
That is correct. The ones that do often will do right after the end of an audit, which I don't feel is very useful,
Depends on how the audit went.
That's right. Doing it by year makes more sense. I started doing this when I got here, or 2016, or when the board started is when I started doing it. But, most auditors don't do this. I will say that one of the comments was that we should have more trainings for faculty and staff. And I think this is in response to you. Me and Beth started last semester. We offer 2 classes through HR for supervisors who approve credit cards. So we offer a 1-hour class for them to kind of remind them of how important their role is and to make sure things are happening correctly. We've done that twice last semester, twice this semester. And I think off the top of my head, over 60% of all the supervisors have attended, which is really good. And we've been asked to continue to do that. We'll continue to offer that service to the campus.
This is an information item and requires no action. And before we adjourn, I do want to echo Dr. Rowe's comments, Blaine, and that of your huge staff, you and Beth. All the proactive work that you do to reduce risk and things from ever happening, bad things from ever happening in the university. And so thank you again very much for your hard work. This concludes the agenda, and I move that the public portion of the audit committee meeting adjourn.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that the meeting adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned. And now